Hey everybody, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to spend it with me. It means a lot. Who am I kidding? You're at home, you're quarantined. What else are you gonna do? So, without any further ado, welcome to yet another edition of the weekly recap with more visuals. It's like I'm getting better. Uh, so, let's just dive right in. We're gonna start very, very simple. A game came out, kind of a big game. Um, yeah, Final Fantasy VII. That finally came out. That happened. So uh, haven't picked it up yet, just because Resident Evil and the next story. There's another game that I'm a little bit more excited for, and we'll get to that. But I did play the demo. There's a video finally up. I actually did a stream of it yesterday, Friday. Today's Saturday. So definitely check it out. The game itself, the demo played a lot like, was it Crisis Core? So it was really fun. Visually, it was amazing. Looked really good. And I'm playing on just a standard PS4, not a PS4 Pro. But yeah, I'll pick it up eventually. The one thing I'm waiting on a little bit, as a side note, is the whole episodic content thing. This is coming out just as Final Fantasy. It says a tiny up there, remake, but it doesn't really like say part one, part two. So I kind of want to know how far this goes, where it's going to stop, and then what the next move is before I really decide to dive in to the next game. So, but yeah, friends that are playing it say it's awesome. They're enjoying the hell out of it. Redbeard got his feedback. He loves it. Shout out to his other channel, Rhino Vision. I know he's getting back on board with them, so keep making good content, guys. The reason I'm not getting Final Fantasy right now is I kind of pre-ordered this game, and I'm super excited for it. It's coming out still about 3 weeks away, so I might still get Final Fantasy in between then. I don't know. But Maneater, yeah. How to describe it. If you haven't watched the trailer, go watch it. If you've ever played Jaws Unleashed for the PS2 and the original Xbox, it's that. It's being called like Grand Theft Auto with sharks. It's like a spiritual sequel to Jaws Unleashed. You play as a shark roaming around the ocean eating people. And it's very GTA-ish. You constantly like upgrade your shark as you go, and it just looks fun. And it's being made by Tripwire, the guys that did Killing Floor, and that game was so much fun. So it drops early May 2nd. It's only going to be $40. So yeah, I'm super excited for this game. I hope it doesn't suck, but Killing Floor is awesome. The VR Killing Floor was so much fun. Hell, Gary Busey as Santa Claus. Come on. So, high hopes. Really, really high hopes. Definitely check out Maneater. Check out the trailer, and yeah. I know I've been talking about this a little bit. I just wanted to share this real quick. This is just a concept somebody made. Not to go back onto the... There it is. The Resident Evil 3 train. I know I've talked a lot about that. Talked about the remake. Talked a little bit about it last week. But my last 2 cents, and maybe I'll drop this. I won't say anymore next week. I really want Dino Crisis to get the treatment. I really do. Chris, friend of mine, did bring up a good point, though, and I said I would mention it, so here I am mentioning it. They are working on Resident Evil 8, and we'll get to that. We'll get to a little bit more details. So I didn't organize that part correctly, but either way, but he mentioned Code Veronica. That would actually be really sweet to see a full-on reboot, remake, remaster of Code Veronica, but yes, but also Dino Crisis. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Other news. So today's Saturday as I'm recording this. Tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow was supposed to be the season finale of The Walking Dead. We're not getting it tomorrow. We don't know when we're getting it. Later this year is all they're telling us. Due to everything going on, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to get too deep into that this week. I've already said enough. Post-production, either way, whatever. But something we have already known that they announced at San Diego Comic-Con with a certain person dressed up as Negan coming up on stage and then revealing that it was her. But they showed us the teaser for the season finale, and Maggie, she'll be in it. So Lauren Cohen's coming back as Maggie. She'll be in the season finale. The teaser kind of showed her like looking through a box that had a letter, kind of pretty much catching her up on a lot. So it'll be interesting to see when that time comes, when actually we get the episode, her involvement. I'm not going to spoil anything comic or show, but they followed one part from the comic pretty much to the T. And I'm very curious if in the season finale we'll get the other part of the comic. But I'm curious if they do it, how they're going to... I hope if they do it, and I know I'm being very, like, kind of secretive with what I'm saying. If they do a certain character, I don't want it to be how it was in the comic. I'm not saying there's a new character. I'm saying something that happens with a character in the comic I don't like how they did it in the comic. I want to see it done better in the show, but we'll see. Leave it on at that. But either way, Maggie's coming back, so maybe she'll be involved with it. Who knows? Other news. So this is my slideshow controller for today, the DualShock 4. We got our first glimpse at the DualSense. This is the controller that we are going to see for the PS5 whenever it launches. Whether or not it's still this year, we're waiting to see. But either way, the DualSense controller is going to take away the share button, and instead we're going to have a create button. Okay, cool. They say it's still going to have a headphone jack, probably down here, I imagine. They're saying it's going to have a built-in microphone. It has a speaker. Similar controllers, you can already see the speaker. It's going to have the whole touchpad. It's going to be a lot more rounded, more like, it looks like it's going to be pretty comfortable, pretty, what's the word? Ergonomic? Close to that word, hard to pronounce. Me and English don't get along. But it's a little bit more rounded. The triggers, I think, are going to be a little bit more refined. The big thing, and we don't know what Microsoft is doing. We can suspect what they're doing, but we know it's going to have a built-in rechargeable battery. Again, because that's what Sony's been doing since the PS3. Early indications is Microsoft is not doing that, but I don't know. That I can only go off of what I've seen with the DualSense. I really do like the black, white, the blue. Granted, DualShock 4s, I have 4 different ones. I have a black Darth Vader, I got the Uncharted bluish one, which I wish was better, a white one, and somewhere I have my 20th anniversary one, which I still gotta fix. But it'll be interesting when it launches, is this gonna be the final design? Are we gonna see anything different with the system to match the color scheme? And more importantly, as Sony loves to do, are we gonna see multiple colors? So, I like it. I think it's sexy. And regardless of what certain people say, the analogs they're still in the right spot. So, just saying. Now this is for Andy. If Andy watches this is for you. This is a screen from Dead Rising 2 from the original teaser trailer that came out God knows how long ago. Now, the only reason we're bringing up Dead Rising... No, not Rising. Sorry. If I said Rising, I'm wrong. Dead Island 2. The only reason we're bringing up Dead Island 2 is it's not dead. The studio behind it, and I'm going to butcher it, I think it's Sumo Interactive. Sumo something. It's the guys that did Crackdown 3. They're still behind it. And Crackdown 3, unfortunately, wasn't that good. It did not live up to the hype. But regardless, they have recently posted some job listings. They are looking for more people that want to work on this game. So, some of the stuff was talking about possible current gen, next gen. So if this comes out, we might not see it till the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever. But Dead Island 2 is not dead. It is still somewhere on life support. So, yeah. Doesn't matter how much you try to kill it, Andy. It's still it's gonna be something. Whether or not it's gonna be good, I don't know, because Dead Island was good. I liked it. Dead Island Riptide was a glorified expansion. Dying Light was awesome. Dying Light 2, whenever it comes out, it looks good. I'll still get it. I love zombies. You know I love zombies. But I'm just intrigued to see I want to see more about it. So yeah, I want to see more. And finally, to not take too much more of your time, I did mention a little bit at the top of the show. We talked about Resident Evil. We talked about Resident Evil 3. And more importantly, now that Resident Evil 3 is out, which I have one more thing to say about Resident Evil 3. I really, really hope, and before I get into this, I really, really hope, and I don't see it happening because of the introduction of the multiplayer, which I still haven't played yet, that Resident Evil 3 gets some type of DLC similar to Resident Evil 2, where they did the whatever survivors, I can't think of it, but where you got to play as the extra characters and kind of see things from another view. Being that the big gripe, as much as this game's awesome, it's very short. I talked about that. On hardcore mode, which I'm currently doing a playthrough of, Nemesis is actually a challenge and he kills you in a couple hits, so it's a lot harder even with some of the unlockables. With that said, they took out a couple of huge parts of the game, and it would be nice to have something added into it. Leaving it at that. Resident Evil, depending what they're going to do next, we know they are working on Resident Evil 8. It has been announced, sort of. It's kind of hidden in the back. We're waiting to see more. It seems like it's going to take place in, like, I think it's, like, contextual name is Resident Evil 8, The Village. So it might have kind of a little bit of an Outlast 2 vibe. There's mention of a possible character called the Witch who's going to, like, stalk you. So it might be first person. These are all based on some leaks and like teasers and things that may or may not be true until we truly know. One thing I did read that I'm curious to see is there's talk that it might star Chris Redfield and Ethan from Resident Evil 7. If that is true, this could be a direct continuation. So, and they said, like, one of the other articles was talking about how hardcore Resident Evil fans might hate the game, but I'm very curious to see what that truly means. They've talked about, like, the game revolves around trust, so with Redfield and Ethan, maybe there's some underlying story going on there, but I don't know. Big Resident Evil fan. I got Resident Evil tattoo somewhere back there, whether or not you see it, and I got 2, I got 3, picked up the whole bundle of a bunch of the other ones, and I'm very intrigued to see what 8 will bring when that time comes. But I still want a reboot of Dino Crisis. Especially after the terribleness of Dino Crisis 3. Oh my god, that game was bad. But, yeah. That's really all I got for you this week. Trying to keep it short, sweet, simple, you know? Trying to stay with the rhythm, trying to get these out on a weekly basis. And I appreciate you taking some of your time to watch this, so it means a lot to me. I enjoy doing this again, and that's what matters. So, hit those buttons, you know, you'll see those buttons. They'll pop up at some point. And then, you know, try to share me with the world. But, until next week, until the next video, stay safe and be kind.